I'm massively overweight SUI, and they're very smart. They understand scale. They understand how to solve really difficult things, walrus, stuff like that. It's super interesting. I think the market's picking up that narrative. Now, it's very early stage. It's going to have to go through a bear market. It'll go down a lot because low free float goes down a lot like it goes up a lot. So it's still early. It's got all of the hallmarks of a massively growing ecosystem, massive growing number of users, massive growing number of applications.
You own a majority of Solana. Is Sol cooked now that the crazy meme coin meta is behind us?
I'm massively overweight SUI.
Over Sol.
Massively.
Can I ask you, percentages wise, more or less?
I'm definitely over 70% SUI. And that's not anything to do with the foundation that I'm on. That's my just capital allocation of my savings. And simple. It's not because I'm on the foundation and people are like, hey, he's just shilling his coin. It's because the fucking chart of Solana, SUI versus Solana broke out. And Solana was the strongest horse in the race. So if another large token is outperforming Solana on like weekly charts, daily charts, significant time horizons, and the chart pattern looks good, and you can see the adoption, and it's got a lower free float, and there's large demand, and there's a lot of developer activity, and all of the things we talked about, then I'm forced to do that. I then also looked at anything versus SUI now, because that's now your benchmark.
Yeah.
And then what's funny is you see, well, there's one token that's doing really well versus it. Deepbook. And Deepbook is the liquidity layer SUI, so I own some of that too.
Yeah, I have a question on both of them actually.
Yeah.
You tweet for SUI, I love Sol, but SUI is my favorite child. If I need to have a favorite. Other than SUI to Sol chart, what's new in the SUI ecosystem, because you're pretty close to it since we last recorded together, that makes you hyper bullish on SUI?
It's really interesting because when you talk to, here in the Middle East right now, you talk to people, they know SUI because it's Facebook. You speak to people and everybody says, yeah, they're really interesting. You see, I mean, without giving away stuff from the foundation, you just know the quality of the people. I mean, you've interviewed Adani.
I went to the SUI office in March to interview Evan and Sam. It's not out yet because they're actually a sponsor of the podcast. We're an ecosystem partner, and I did the George for the launch of Walrus, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I went to their office and there was Adeni, there was Sam, and there was Evan. And we're in this office. The energy was insane. I brought a friend of mine. We spent the entire afternoon. I did this podcast there. And then it was like a party in this office. Like you could feel, and they were saying, oh, look, this is the same office as we had in Facebook. Literally. Like the atmosphere was incredible. And then we just left so energized. It was incredible.
And you feel that. You feel throughout. You see the type of projects they're going for. It's interesting because, I get called into a few meetings with some people that they're talking to, and like Christian, who's the head of the foundation, his opening question now to projects that want to work with SUI is like, well, show me the path to 1 billion users. Right? Because it's built for that scale. And if you're leading with questions like that, is like, yeah, okay, it's interesting you building this, whatever, but is this going to bring me 1 billion users? If it's not of high priority. And so their mindset is really big. And they back it up by, all of the projects that they've been launching. So, I've been privileged to be on the foundation to see the inner workings of an amazing group of people and see how they all come together. They're basically all ex-Facebook and Google. And they're very smart. They understand scale. They understand how to solve really difficult things, walrus, stuff like that. It's super interesting. And so I think the market's picking up that narrative. Now, it's very early stage, It's going to have to go through a bear market. It'll go down a lot because low free float goes down a lot like it goes up a lot. And then you need to see how well does the team manage a bear market. Do they have cash? Are they investing? Are they building? Which is what Solana did really well last cycle. Tolly did a magnificent job of doing that under extreme pressure. And that's when Lindy effects kick in. Tolly earns his stripes from that. And so it's still early, but, it's got all of the hallmarks of a massively growing ecosystem, massive growing number of users, massive growing number of applications. Have they had the big breakout application yet? No. but there will be one this cycle, and that'll be the first start of the bigger narrative.
So 70% in SUI. What are you going to do with that? Because you say buy and hold, right?
Yeah.
Are you planning at some point to say, I'm going to put some of that in Bitcoin or in Sol? Or are you saying if it goes down, I believe in the team? And
No, I mean, I've got locked tokens which will go down and stuff like that from the foundation. I will, as I've talked to you before, take some lifestyle chips off, the things I want to do with my life. And so I've not had any big capital expenditure for 5 years now. So I would like to be able to do something. And then, yes, I'll do an asset allocations shift, whether it's to, I'm not one to really go out of the market. Yes, a bit of cash to have cash buffer, but I'm not one to go out of the market because I don't think you know the shape of the downside. My fear is that Bitcoin only goes down 40% this cycle and everybody sells out and says, well, I can buy it down 70. Isn't this an easy game? And it doesn't go down 70. It doesn't go down 60. It doesn't go down 50. It goes down 40. And then it takes off again as liquidity comes and everybody's caught offside. So I'll probably allocate, whether it's towards Bitcoin or whatever, I'm not sure, but yeah.